Hey everybody, what's going on? Your best buddy Basil here. You are at the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. I am just going ahead, publishing the social media. There it goes, off into the wilderness. And the text message, beep bop boop, here we go. Text message receivers, hit and send. And let's see here. Who we got? We got 24 people over on Rumble so far. Hello, Rumble. Who's over there? Joydar. Joydar, thanks for being here. The only Rumble chatter as of now. Waiting for people. Hey, that means that there's 23 Rumble viewers who have not created an account, who have not followed our channel, who have not committed to the resiliency that we currently have in Rumble. Now, things could always go south. We know that there's some hanky-panky going on Rumble once in a while. We are choosing to be optimistic about Rumble as a safe harbor for truth, because certainly all those other big guys are getting the attention they deserve, according to Rumble. And so we're hoping so. It has been strange ever since we did point out the fact that there seems to be some limiting on the daily subscribers, as well as some subscribers of ours complaining that they are getting automatically unsubscribed to us on Rumble. Very suspicious, but we're kind of used to it as far as that goes, because that's what YouTube does. The second we talk about that on Monday, instantly a complete halt of new subscribers. Not a single new subscriber since Monday, which is very unusual. I don't know why, folks. I don't know why. Why us? Well, presumably there's others as well. We hope Rumble does not fall into the trap of wielding their power as gatekeepers to decide who gets, the attention, who gets the freedom, who gets to say what they want without fear of repercussions, shadow banning, unsubscribing, these types of things. It is unfortunate. It's nothing personal, Rumble, if you're listening. It's just unfortunate that we live in a world where we have to gaslight ourselves in order to be optimistic that Rumble would not take that power that they obviously have. They have the ability to do this. They have the good PR for not being known to do this. But when you see it happening right in front of your eyes, it is a little sad. And that's why, folks, we are not staking it all on Rumble. We are not relying on Rumble entirely. We are gathering the troops, gathering the tribe to go to canarycry.tube. Canarycry.tube, that is our current fundraiser. Here's the thing. Go cancel one of your streaming services. YouTube Premium, that's a good one to cancel. Maybe Hulu, maybe Netflix, whatever it is. And then go to canarycry.tube. Put those God-given resources towards a future-proofing plan for independent media, value for value. The problem with canarycry.tube is it provides zero value to corporations. It only provides value to those who put value back in. Well, that's opposite. It provides value to everybody, but it's value for value, okay? So consider, please, we made it a little over 10% of our goal there. The idea is cancel your Hulu, cancel your Netflix, whatever. Pick one of them and then go to canarycry.tube and commit to putting those God-given resources towards our infrastructure project so that we can be safely speaking the truth, or at least as close as we can get far into the future without the need for the approval of big tech platforms. This specifically is for people who have not felt that there has been a producer program for them in the past. This is for you, dear producer. We are hoping that you can understand the spirit behind this, understand the need for it, and perhaps finally jump in and help in a big way. As a reward, you will be put in the Age of Deceit 4 focus group where you will get to watch Age of Deceit 4 piece by piece before anybody else does and give us your thoughts to help perfect the film before it comes out. CanaryCry.tube. We hope you enjoy it. We'll stick it into the chat here for you. But now, it's time to start the show.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is February 14th, 2024. We are live to tape on episode 715, and today, New Weird Order. And signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's emergent phenomenon, it's getting weird, Basil, very weird. There's a lot of alignment happening. You know, today is Valentine's Day, it's Ash Wednesday, it's Michael Heiser's birthday. It's there's one more thing. I think it was like the founding of the CIA or something like that. I forget what it was. I put the calendar in a spot that I can't see it during the show. What am I doing?
Did you mention Valentine's Day? Did I blank that out?
You probably blanked out. Yeah,
I did.
Maybe there's some trauma associated. Do we need to talk about
that's
your history,
perhaps,
your love, your heart?
Perhaps that is
scars.
the case.
We all have scars, buddy.
I did. I've actually talked about my Valentine's Day trauma previously in the past, related to bringing Valentines for the whole class and that whole thing.
Right.
That was
a
big disaster.
Especially when you're the one left out.
That's
she doesn't
true.
like me. How come
Or the
everybody
ones
else got
leaving
candy?
out. That's the weird part. You accidentally forget somebody. Oopsie daisies. Not trying to say anything. All right. Well, happy day, everybody. There's a lot of things going on today. We've got a lot to cover. This is going to be kind of a fun one. I don't know how else to say. We've got some very interesting updates and some, I think there's going to be a lot of theory in this one, some occult theory and witchcraft dissection and stuff. Hopefully in a way that is level-headed and is not reaching. And also, here's the thing. I know this is very popular nowadays, talking about the occult stuff in the Super Bowl or the Grammys or whatever. It's very popular, but we've been doing it for so long, since 2012, that we hope to bring some seasoned insight and some deeper looks into some of the more subtle things going on that you won't find popping up on just your regular old YouTube video, if that's allowed. I want to remind everybody about canarycry.tube. Go check it out. A big old shout out to Joydar on Rumble, who just sent a super chat that says, "Grr, just tried to pay by debit card, but want me to sign up to PayPal. I already have a pay." Oh, Joydar's talking about canarycry.tube. You know, I've heard this before with our canarycry.tube link, that the PayPal aspect of it is causing lots of problems. So I will be putting together an alternative option. Keep an eye out for that, and I hope if you're interested in getting an alternative to PayPal option for canarycry.tube, you can wait patiently, or you can send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com.
We should just start minting our own coins.
Sure, I mean the government does
legal.
it.
I'm pretty
Why
sure that's
couldn't we
not
do
allowed.
it?
Yeah, we'll call it legal tender in the canarium. We can have our own
company
constitution.
script.
Yeah.
Go back to the good old days of company script. Okay, well, let's go ahead. Let's give that disclaimer for one reason or another, and we'll get moving.
Yeah, okay, let's do
It's
it.
time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube.
That's right, and just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. That's right. And how about a rundown? Would that suit anybody?
Here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Here's the thing, folks. Starting out, Mayorkas, impeached. The border, not impeached. Ukraine, Israel, funded. Secret Super Bowl vote. Ooh. Gun control, Joel Osteen. Oh my goodness. We'll check into that and then wrap it all up in a big bow with some look into witchcraft in the mainstream. Not even secret witchcraft. Witchcraft out in the open. Checking in with Flippy, another space Flippy, but what does this mean for the future of Mars exploration, or perhaps Greenland exploration? Who knows? I don't know. We'll find out. Then, of course, we gotta check in with the new, bright and shiny pandemic. Don't miss it, folks. And then AI making a splash on the health, the health brainwashing industry, I suppose. And then, maritime power shapes the world order. Do not touch our boats. Watch out. A little bit more fleshing out of the United States of America's obsessions with boats. And then, of course, we're not happy just above the water. We're going beneath. A submersible has entered the portal in Antarctica, never to return again. But first, our lead stories, Gons.
Border?
We believe the borders should remain open.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is interesting. You know, I'm kind of ashamed we didn't bring it to the show last time. I saw it as it was happening, but there's just so much going on. It didn't make it on the list, but better late than never. First, big piece of news. CNN.com, House impeaches Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Ooh, this was yesterday here. Alejandro Mayorkas, for those who may not have your roster of New World Order Fantasy League characters right in front of you, Security Secretary for the Homeland here, Homeland Security Secretary, is the individual who is sort of practically in charge of the border of the United States, its security specifically, and sort of a character who's evaded, sort of swerved a lot of the attention of the mainstream, opting, of course, to get sort of put Biden directly in the hot seat. Well, Alejandro Mayorkas, this is his gig. It says here, how the border issue galvanized swing district Republicans to support effort to impeach Mayorkas. While House Republicans only just succeeded Tuesday in their effort to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, they have been investigating his handling of the border since they reclaimed the House majority in 2022. So there's, if you're into analyzing, deconstructing, and just observing the news, it's suspicious or notable that this border issue just became such a hot button explosive issue in the past month or so, in the new year here. Because, for those who've been paying attention, people have been blowing the whistle on the border for multiple years. Indeed, the rate of whoopsie daisies going down at the border, uninvited visitors, let's call them, has been at this incredible level for quite some time, and it took, a few years, apparently, for Republicans to build the case against the guy who's sort of responsible for that. And the article continues, momentum to plot a swift impeachment of May. A plot. I love it. It's a plot. It's a conspiracy to hold Mayorkas accountable. I also I think it must be noted the use of the word swift in there, just because of the power that word or name holds in the mainstream right now. Momentum to plot...
Swift impeachment, too.
Yeah. Momentum to plot a swift impeachment of Mayorkas picked up steam last month as key swing district Republicans expressed openness to the idea amid a recent surge of migrant crossings at the southern border. Border authorities encountered more than 225,000 migrants along the U.S.-Mexico border in December. The numbers are just it's outrageous. Every time I read the numbers, they're almost unbelievable. Marking the highest monthly total recorded since 2000, according to preliminary Homeland Security statistics shared with CNN. And in fiscal year 2022, according to the Department of Homeland Security, 1.4 million individuals who were encountered at the border were removed, which is more than any previous year. Okay. The border crisis has galvanized Republicans unifying their party for more aggressive action on the issue central to the 2024 campaign, and a handful of 8 Republicans who voted with Democrats to scuttle an effort to impeach Mayorkas in November 2023 recently signaled they'd back impeaching him if it went through the committee process, which happened late last month. So the drama for this, if you've been following, is very interesting. They actually tried to impeach Mayorkas before. At the time, I believe, who was it? There was a very important Republican who was getting, I believe, cancer surgery on the day of the vote. And in his absence, this sort of, I don't know if they're rhinos particularly, but there are these 8 Republicans who said, hey, if the boss man ain't here, time for the mice to come out and play. And they scuttled the whole thing. This could have been done back in November. Well, things changed on Tuesday, and they finally pulled it off. Moderate Republicans, including ones in districts that President Joe Biden carried in 2020, also signaled more willingness to impeach Mayorkas than the president, a sign of shifting political terrain on the issue. While House Republicans have sought to use Mayorkas' impeachment to address their issue with Biden's handling of the border, the GOP also helped to tank, along with Donald Trump, a major bipartisan border deal and foreign aid package that would have marked a tough change to immigration law. Sorry. You can't help but laugh because it was not a tough change. The long and short of the immigration law was, we send $100 billion overseas to fund foreign wars, and then we'll spend $20 billion here to allow pretty much the exact same amount of immigrants to cross the border, but we'll spend the $20 billion, hastening their asylum claims, and we'll give them work permits, and we'll let them in, just through a different door. It was a very obvious.
Weren't they going to build some facilities, just better care for these people? Not just
there was a little bit of that, but that was sort of a different subject. In this one, It was mostly, we'll pay $20 billion, and if 8,500 illegal immigrants come across the border, then we will move them through an actual border crossing and then let them in and give them work permits. So it was actually just legalizing the process.
Illegal immigration.
Exactly. It was legalizing the illegal immigration. And of course, the Democrats used this as all sorts of really infuriating talking points, but that's okay. We are breathing deep. We are resting in the peace that passes all understanding. Mayorkas wrote in a letter in advance of the vote that, quote, the problems with our broken and outdated immigration system are not new, and called on Congress to help provide a legislative solution to the, quote, historically divisive issue. Well, he got his impeachment yesterday. Of course, now this will go to the Senate to be confirmed and convicted, because that is how the impeachment process works. And on the topic, we all remember this, quote, major bipartisan border deal and foreign aid package that got shut down first time around. Well, a very interesting thing happened on Sunday. No, it was not the Superb Owl. It was not Taylor Swift's witchcraft spell casting. It was not, what's his face?
I would disagree with that. I think she was part of the misdirection, the magic trick. She was the one that they dangled out there.
That is actually a very good point, because while, dear friends, while you were either watching or not watching the Super Bowl, something very interesting was happening in the Senate. And this is coming from CNBC.com. Senate moves forward with Israel-Ukraine funding after vote on Super Bowl Sunday. During the Super Bowl, on Super Bowl Sunday.
Hey, they can use Super Bowl too, right? CNBC. They're allowed to use it. They've paid money so they can put that in a headline.
I wonder if that's still a thing. I kind of noticed that this year there was almost zero sort of, cutesy avoidance
trademark,
of trademark
maybe it
infringements.
Expired or something. Yeah, who knows?
Senators on Sunday voted to move forward with the $95 billion aid package to fund Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, a positive sign that the long-awaited foreign aid could have the votes to pass after the weekend of slow-going negotiations.
Well, what about our border?
Exactly.
Our border. What happened to the border?
What happened was the border got taken out of the border deal.
Why?
Because their trick did not work. The Republicans did not fall for the trap of combining the border deal with the foreign aid. And I think it's interesting because, of course, the attempt, or at least the sort of illusion of the attempt, was, hey, okay, we'll fund the border. We'll make up all these rules that basically legalizes illegal immigration. And then also, in exchange, fund Ukraine and Israel. And nobody, Trump came out against it. Everybody came out against it. It was really whack, actually. But the idea is not that necessarily. So the impression of the situation is that they were holding hostage the border for foreign aid. If you want the border to be secured, then you'll have to give the foreign aid. And it gives you the impression that Republicans voting against the deal didn't vote for it because of the foreign aid. They didn't want to send the foreign aid. Well, that's not true at all. It was the actual bill about the border that was so bad that it couldn't have been passed because it was legalizing illegal immigration. Because, as you see here, when they separate the border deal with the foreign aid passes immediately. Well, not quite immediately. It's actually an interesting story. So, Super Bowl Sunday. Okay, quickly. Everybody's paying attention to the master ritual. Everybody's talking about Taylor. Everybody's watching Ice Spice make her devil horns on TV. Quick, everybody's very distracted. Now is the time to secretly send off $100 billion to fund foreign wars.
Or do their own ritual, too. It says here that Schumer planned to arrange for televisions and pizza on Capitol Hill. So he was doing a party ritual, Super Bowl ritual, and voting.
Yeah, exactly. He says, I can't remember the last time the Senate was in session on Super Bowl Sunday. As I've said all week long, we're going to keep working on this bill until the job is done, said Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Great. Sunday's vote, which passed with 67 votes in favor, is one of the last procedural hurdles before the final vote, making it a good indicator that the $95 billion bill is headed for success after days of back and forth talks. I think we're going to pass this spending bill for Ukraine. We've already moved past several procedural hurdles that require 60 votes. I think there will be 60 votes in the end. Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut, who has been the lead negotiator on the bill, said optimistically in a Sunday interview on CBS Face the Nation. Now, this was very interesting. While they attempted to sort of sneak this under the radar of the country and fund these foreign wars, Senator Ron Paul was doing what Senator Rand Paul does. Senator Rand Paul, staunch defender of not sending over American tax dollars to continue ongoing forever wars for reasons that don't seem to improve the lives or situations of Americans in any sort of way. He and a few others led a valiant filibuster. So while the Senate was trying to, the House was trying to sneak this bill through, Senator Rand Paul and a few others launched a pretty valiant filibuster for like 13 hours. It was a speaking filibuster where they were taking turns getting up and just going for it. And this was, at the very least, they say the attempt was to at least have a discussion about it, at least have a debate. And so that's what they did. Stood up for, I think it was 13 hours, which put the actual vote and the passing of this bill, as some headlines put it, as a pre-dawn passing of the bill. So, it's just got a weird vibe to it. Of course, the spell of the Super Bowl capturing the attention, and the magicians watch the magician's left hand while the trick is done with the right hand. Rand Paul, a personal interviewee of mine back in 15?
Yeah.
I should have asked him about this, what he had to say.
You're from the future. You should have asked him all the relevant questions.
I know. I can't
when
believe
you filibuster in 2024 on Super Bowl Sunday, he would have looked at you like you were insane with his beautiful.
I had
collared
10
shirt.
minutes with him. I should have filibustered my 10 minutes with him.
Yeah, I think you did.
Anywho, while the magician's left hand was distracting everybody with the Super Bowl, the right hand was attempting to pull this trick. Senator Rand Paul, again, I can only say valiantly, tried his best to stall it, to at least get it, out of Super Bowl Sunday so that people will pay attention and cover it. The filibuster ultimately failed in the middle of the night, and so a pre-dawn vote went through. Now, this bill is still going to be going to the Senate to be confirmed today, actually. Oh, no. Wait. Hold on. I'm seeing an update here. A $118 billion version of the bill failed in the Senate floor Wednesday. That was last week. Okay, that was last week. So there should be maybe the confirmation happening either now or yesterday. I'll have to look for an update. So, for years, for a decade or more, we've talked about the Super Bowl as some sort of ritual, and it is a ritual, and there's lots of reasons why it is a ritual, and it doesn't matter if you think of witchcraft as just spicy psychology, or you think of witchcraft in the occult as an operative mechanic in the spiritual reality that we live in. Either way, there was quite the, dare I say, conspiracy to continue the foreign funding while everybody was distracted. And you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, you can replace the word conspiracy with collusion, and it's absolutely appropriate use of the term of what happened.
Yeah.
So this is very popular in government. The folks up there, they did a similar thing when they passed the central bank, the Federal Reserve, the creation of the Federal Reserve back in 1913. I think it was Christmas when they went in there and voted for that, when everyone was home for Christmas. So, it's pretty typical blueprint in the playbook there. So not really
and there's
surprised.
the Obama midnight amendments that went through that laid the groundwork for this horrible dystopia that we live in now. It's a classic move, and it's not necessarily a coincidence, I think, that things like midnight amendments, pre-dawn votes, things like this sort of coincide so seamlessly with the ideology of, occult practitioners, witchcraft enjoyers, things like that. It's very interesting.
It must be, again, they're stacking rituals. It seems like a lot of things are just stacking on top of each other because you had, of course, the priestess, Taylor Swift there. We're going to add our little witchcraft flavor to this story.
This girl must be practicing witchcraft.
Now, this is coming from Snopes, all right? Snopes is there to tell us what the facts are. They have this headline. What to know about claims Taylor Swift performed witchcraft during the Eras tour. This was published on Monday, so of course, Snopes trying to jump in and get some of the clicks. This was mirrored on Yahoo. And here's what the article says. Some rumors surrounding the popular singer Taylor Swift are truly hexing. Oh, really? A viral TikTok video from early 2023 claimed to show Swift literally practicing witchcraft on stage during her Eras concert tour that commenced in March 2023 and wrapped up by the end of the year, and similar claims have persisted. The 2023 TikTok shows Swift and her backup dancers performing against a foggy forest backdrop, holding up golden orbs as fiery yellow light bursts out from behind them. Both the caption and voiceover video claim Swift is performing quote-unquote witchcraft. Swift was actually singing a slowed down version of the lyrics from her song Willow. The video
actually okay,
guys,
here's what's really going on.
The video shows her singing the line, quote, "Wait for the signal, they'll meet you after dark." Okay.
I remember this, which is basically literally a song about witches.
Yeah. And if you watch it, and they quote somebody named Doreen Virtue. I have never heard of Doreen Virtue. She has a
Fake
Trust
name.
in the Lord header, and 350,000 subscribers on YouTube. And it looks like she's a Christian author, and so there you go. She's being featured as the commentary to Debunk by Snopes, and they quote her. Saying they purported to analyze, quote, Taylor Swift's dangerous descent into witchcraft, sorcery, and casting spells, and said that, quote, Taylor is clearly dancing witches' coven ceremonies during her Willow song, and she's posting about witchcraft, sorcery, and casting spells. A witch school even welcomed Taylor into their tribe. Tragically, though, even if Taylor genuinely doesn't believe she's a witch, she's glorifying witchcraft and is influencing audience members towards witchcraft. And so they have the clip or the video linked or embedded from this Doreen Virtue person, which I thought was quite the feature there for
I wonder
this
if
individual.
wonder if we've ever gotten embedded on Snopes.
No, I don't think so. And then it goes into this here. Swift's onstage performance was clearly a live performance adaptation of the music video for Willow. In which
this song about witches and witchcraft.
Well, yeah, it's okay. It's just the 2:16 mark. A number of golden orbs surrounded by a fiery light rise up in a forest as people in capes dance around it. Okay, it's not capes. It's not witchcraft.
It's just capes.
It's just a reference to the music video. The part where she's in the forest and there's orbs and there's people in robes dancing. Come on, guys. It's not witchcraft.
I love it. Well, what's the most sort of offensive about this is any person, of which there are many nowadays, who practice witchcraft or consider themselves occult.
This is offensive to them.
It's offensive to them because, of course, she's so obviously, giving representation to witches and the occult. And it seems like whoever is writing this, which, I don't know, who is it? Snopes?
It's Snopes, yeah.
So Snopes is obviously... we all know they don't actually know what they're talking about. They're just an operation. They are
we don't have to get into it.
a IO, if you will, information operation.
Yes.
It's almost offensive that they're so uneducated about a very popular spiritual system nowadays.
Yeah, spiritual practice. Yeah. Swift sang about witches and witchcraft in her 2020 album Folklore and Evermore, which
it's like saying those people aren't praying. Those people are just closing their eyes and speaking out loud to an invisible God.
I mean, it's even worse than that. It's almost like saying, no. What they're doing is mimicking this scene from this movie, okay?
Yes,
when
this
they all
movie.
pray in the church.
Right. Yeah.
It's not that they're praying. They're just, recreating that scene where they're in the church and praying.
Exactly.
Okay. But then I love it because Snopes is very upfront about the information. Swift sang about witches and witchcraft in her 2020 album, Folklore. I can feel the meltdown of the person writing this, like, oh my gosh, maybe she is a witch. Evermore, which led to speculation. Yeah. Go ahead. Did I lose you?
Try to use true facts to tell a lie. Like that is the goal. That is the charge of a Snopes writer, is to report on true facts but come to a falsified conclusion.
Yeah. Okay. So she her sharing witchcraft on her album led to speculation about the singer's interests and inspirations, not to mention her religious beliefs. But like most artists, Swift draws from a range of experiences, including her own as a witch. I don't know, and is known for using heavy symbolism in her music. Besides incorporating sorcery-related themes and images into her performance of it, the song Willow also has a so-called witch remix, and Swift's official account has shared how she connects with witches in her work, and then they embed a post where she's talking about witches.
Yeah.
But no,
she loves witches. She hangs out with witches. She sings about witches. She uses witchcraft symbology in her music. She acts like a witch. She just pretends to be a witch in her music videos.
Don't be so hasty, okay? Snopes is spitting the facts because it says here, Swift publicly identifies as a Christian, parentheses, and did so as recently as 2020. I don't know how recent. That's 4 years. A lot can happen in 4 years. And a pandemic, too. We have reached out to her representatives and will update the story if we get more information. Does incorporating fairy tale symbolism in some of her songs and performances mean Swift literally practices or promotes the practice of witchcraft? It does not. And this is where Snopes goes completely off the rails. Because, well, they've been off the rails the whole time, I guess. They're just wandering out somewhere where nobody can identify. But this is, this article itself is a form of witchcraft. You lay the facts in front of you and then tell you that it's something else. That takes magic to convince anybody.
Was there more? Where did they go off the rails?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
They conclude that it's not, using symbolism is not witchcraft.
Well, it's actually perfect. I love it. It's actually perfect because it is the way that Snopes truly tells the truth. Telling the truth through lies. It's really incredible. And it's very similar. I think the timing is interesting, but it's very similar to the Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP. Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP. Republicans think Taylor Swift is a PSYOP. Aren't they crazy? She's not a PSYOP. And they only report on things like, I don't know, Jesse Waters says that Taylor Swift gets a check from the CIA in order to brainwash people to vote for Biden, to vote for Democrats. Look at this. It's like, I don't know, maybe Jesse Waters said that, but nobody cares what Jesse Waters is saying. And for those, again, it is the burden of anybody who's actually paying attention, who is actually, people who are listening to this show, people who are not, it's really just corporate media that's ruining everything. We know Fox, CNN, they're all owned by the same people. Fox is owned by Democrats. It is all part of one big narrative control operation. And what Fox did, which was so frustrating, was they took a true thing, which was there was a presentation from the U.S. Pentagon Information's Operations Division or whatever.
Lay out all the stuff here. You want me?
And it was being given to NATO. And here's the thing, but just to preface here, this clip lays out everything we do know about Taylor Swift. This is the source clip for the Taylor Swift is a psychological operation thing. Of course, mainstream news will tell you that it's baseless. They'll tell you that it's a conspiracy theory. And they'll tell you that there's all this other stuff added onto it, like Snopes loves to do. And they're saying Taylor Swift is not a psyop, but also here's a clip that says that Taylor Swift is a psyop. Okay, let's take a look at it. What do we got here?
Yeah, so this is a clip from a video titled Information Warfare Defining and Analyzing PsyCon 2019.
Yes.
And this was the 11th International Conference on Cyber Conflict, CyberCon 2019, organized by NATO, Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, the CCDCOE, in Tallinn, revolved around the theme of silent battle. Silent battle. And they talk a bunch about information operations.
Yes.
I-O, okay? I-O means information operations. Here's the clip.
So the first one, that's the most famous and the most common, is working with famous people or main influencers to share information or a particular message. So I include Taylor Swift in here because she's she's a fairly influential online person. I don't know if you've heard of her. But she's actually, this is a cropped image, but she's standing next to a, go vote sign. And actually celebrities, at least in the US, regularly will post pictures of themselves with an encouragement to people to go vote, and this has a measurable effect on voter turnout. Now, when it comes to countering an IO, the particular message, one needs to consider whether or not the opinion leader actually wants to share that message, because it may or may not be popular, and they may or may not know how to share it without accidentally increasing more misinformation. However, this is one that's a relatively accessible and understandable approach.
It's relatively accessible and understandable to use celebrities to get people to vote. And Taylor Swift is an example being used. And then she mentioned the example of the counter IO content, which is counter information operation content.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what she meant, IO.
Yeah. And, that clip is, there's much more to it on the front and the back end, trying to keep it short for brevity here. So we recommend everybody go watch the entire clip. It is out there. And, yeah, she's talking about how they, as an intelligence operation, use celebrities like Taylor Swift, just an example, like Taylor Swift, for counterintelligence operations, meaning using an asset to control the narrative. And in that particular example, it was for, voting purposes, but the content before and after is very eye-opening and very interesting, talking all about how to counter misinformation, how to control online narratives, how to cut its sort of source, cut it off at the source, how to sort of jujitsu, aikido narratives using counter intel operations like Taylor Swift, and it goes on there. So there is the source of the idea that Taylor Swift is a psyop. Now, does this woman say the word psyop? No, she does not. She uses the official industry term counter IO, which is counter intel operation.
Information operation.
Sorry, information operation.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and it's part of the magic trick that is pulled by the mainstream on a constant basis, which is, in this case, I think Jesse Waters on Fox was the left hand. Pay attention to the left hand.
Yeah. Definitely.
While the right hand, the truth of the matter is, yes, there was a discussion at NATO given about using Taylor Swift as a counter information operation, and in the context of voting. And, then Jesse Water comes on and just rambles on about a conspiracy to get Biden elected. And it's people latched onto it, unfortunately, as the mainstream media said, it is not this fake thing that we said. it works every time. A huge amount of people.
It's a misdirection.
Yeah, a huge amount of people who would otherwise be, edified by knowing the actual story here, go, hey, well, if the mainstream media says that she's not a PSYOP, then she's definitely a PSYOP, and she's trying to get me to vote for Biden, which is like the most inane PSYOP you can think of. A PSYOP to get people, young girls, to vote for Biden is just so silly. Now, do probably the majority of Taylor Swifties vote for Biden? Yeah, probably already. That's probably the case. But it's not about an election interference PSYOP. It's about a much broader topic about how, they're controlling the narratives from the top down.
Yeah, people don't pay attention to the bigger picture. They're sort of lost in the weeds on their, But here's what it says on because they have slides here, and they have the slide. This lady had a slide up on the screen, and it has two different things: identification and segmentation. Identification, there's that picture of Taylor Swift, and it says goal: identify key actors to train and spread desired messaging. That's what it says is the goal. It's to actually key actors to train the public and spread a desired message. That, come on, folks, you can't make that up. Those are very specific words.
Maybe they don't call it a PSYOP, but it sure sounds colloquially like a PSYOP to me.
Encourage opinion leaders to share counter IO content as an example. So encourage them, which means, there's a voice in their ear. Yeah, just share this thing. Yeah. Risk is opinion leaders may not want to share content or may accidentally share misleading content. Oh boy. But the other one that, the lecture goes on, she's talking about segmentation, which is target accounts in a well-connected group or in shared positions. So it's not individuals, sort of an influencer type. This is literally talking about infiltrating networks or groups or, something like the Canarium. I mean, I'm sure we've had people pass through here that were not welcome, So this is also a tactic that apparently they use in part of their information operations to control narratives. It's quite startling.
It's a big part of it. And, some people haven't quite caught on to the idea of, public occult rituals, public witchcraft, the power. And, I've gone through the chaos magic protocols many times on this show over the years. Things like the Super Bowl are considered legitimately by occult practitioners to be sort of the most powerful spell casting opportunities, because at least in the 20th century chaos magic ideology, it is that human attention that brings the power to certain types of witchcraft. And this has been a staple of sort of fringy internet videos for forever, which is, breaking down the Super Bowl, trying to understand what spell is being cast. And in this case, whatever it was, and some people are not quite, on board with the idea of equating the usual witchy craft, the occulty, black robes, whatever, with the same concepts of magicianry, which is, illusion, which is distraction, which is, this sort of what somebody might consider more like showmanship magic that you would see at like a magic show or something, because that industry has done a really good job of sort of trivializing itself by saying, oh, it's not real magic, it's just illusion. Well, if you are a true occult practitioner, illusion is the magic. The illusion is the property through which, spells can be cast. Again, and you can think of it as literal spiritual mechanics if you want. You can also think of it as sort of symbolic metaphor if you want. Either way, it's true, or it's at least apparent to itself. Where did you want to go next with this?
Let's do the gun control here.
Gun violence is an epidemic. think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests.
We do not glorify violence. We do not, I don't know, what else? We do not glorify or incite violence. We do not, we are anti-violent here. We've said it plenty of times. We rebuke in the strongest possible terms anybody considering committing acts of violence to anybody for any reason. And that must be said aloud nowadays, apparently, because our recent YouTube strike, we've come to have deduced, was for glorifying or inciting violence in regards to a report about Putin having a missile called Satan II. I cannot figure out why we got banned whatsoever, except for we hilariously reported on Putin's new missile, and YouTube took that as glorifying that missile as a bunch of Putin lovers around here, and that is not true. So, anywho, more updates on that later, but apparently we need to say that out loud.
Yeah, you know, I never thought that this jingle would come in handy, but I think it is appropriate.
You're going down, Olstein.
Oh, gosh.
That is an old jingle, folks.
That might have been one of the very first jingles
It might
that
have
Canary
been, yeah.
Cry News. I mean, definitely in the first batch for sure. And this was, of course, in regards to our mission to overtake Joel Olstein in the podcasting ranks.
Yes. It's not have anything to do with what we're reporting on here.
Yeah.
Also, breaking, this is CNN. Shots have been fired in Kansas City after a pep rally celebrating Chiefs Super Bowl win, police say. So watch out, folks. Guns everywhere. America's so dangerous because everyone's got guns. But this headline here...
And everybody's got mental health problems.
Yeah,
That's the real danger.
Exactly. Shooter at Houston megachurch had lengthy criminal history, including weapons charges, police say. Of course, we had another shooting here. And the article starts off, a woman who walked into a popular Texas megachurch Sunday afternoon with a long gun and her 7-year-old son opened fire before she was killed by law enforcement officers on scene. The gunfire left the child in critical condition and another man injured, officials said. Now, I saw this story on social media, and so I was seeing all the is this person trans talk? So when I opened CNN and saw a woman, my initial thought, because it's CNN reporting it, was, oh, was this a biological male who is a trans, who thinks is a woman, identifies as a woman, and then she shot up the church? But apparently that's not what was going on.
Right. Well, there's a little bit of detail to it. I don't know how much you're going to stick to the text here, but for context, it had been reported that the shooter had gone by multiple aliases, had a very long track record, and one of the aliases was Jeffrey Escalante, a male name. And so this kind of started, and it was reported all over the place. This was not just a weird social media trend or misinformation on a weird blog. NBC had reported that it was a transgender person. So it was immediately part of the mainstream narrative.
Interesting. So CNN says here that shooter, there's a subtitle, shooter had history of criminal charges and mental health problems. Information from Moreno is the name of the shooter. Social media accounts and local authorities paint a portrait of a single mother with a history of mental health challenges, going through the ups and downs of trying to turn her life around and launch a business. During a Monday news conference, Houston Homicide Commander Chris Hassig said the shooter used multiple aliases, including both male and female names, as you just mentioned there. Right. Moreno was put under an order for emotional detention in 2016, and she has a mental health history documented by Houston police. So front and center, the mental health problem. And then down here, which I thought was interesting because they keep talking about the mental health and then they bring this up. According to police, there was some sort of family dispute between the shooter and her ex-husband and ex-husband's family, some of whom are Jewish. Quote, this might possibly be where all this stems from, Hassig added. He said police also found anti-Semitic writings connected with the shooter. So mental health. and then somehow, because there's Jewish lineage in her ex-husband's family, and then possibly some whatever anti-Semitic writings connected to the shooter means, that they don't tell you what that is. They just say, oh yeah, police said they found anti-Semitic writings connected to the shooter. Then Hassig can make the comment, this might possibly be where all this stems from. What, the mental health or the violence? And so if it's the violence, then they're suggesting that anybody who has anything against Jewish people have mental health problems, as sort of the assumption there, or that the mental health, the Jewish people?
So
I don't know.
Part of the very strangeness of this. Now, again, remember, there's the magician's left hand while the right hand is doing something else. It was originally reported that the AR-15 used in the shooting had Free Palestine written on it. And this made it that much more confusing. Now, the police had done a full investigation on whether this person was trans or not, and committed a lot of resources to this. And
does it even
created
matter?
a lot of confusion, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, it was reported that there was Free Palestine written on the AR-15. This has now
maybe
been
that's part of the-
changed. This has now been changed on the broader reporting. The shooter used a legally purchased AR-15 with a, quote, Palestine sticker on it, police said. A federal law enforcement source previously told CNN Free Palestine was written on the gun. She also had a .22 caliber weapon on her in her bag, which was not used in the attack. So what they're not even saying which one is true. They're just saying federal law enforcement said it said Free Palestine, and somebody else said it just said Palestine. Now, is there an ideological difference in those two things being written on an AR-15? Absolutely not. But again, why the confusion?
Yeah, just to clarify as well, this did happen at Joel Osteen's church. I mean, I don't know if we specifically mentioned it, but yes, this was at
Lakewood Church.
Lakewood Church, yeah. So yeah, some of the weird things going on there, the mental health topic being front and center, tying it with anti-Semitism, but also this is where it gets kind of interesting for me anyway. There's a segment here. Woman also threatened a bomb. Moreno threatened that she had a bomb, but authorities searched her vehicle and backpack and found no explosives, the Houston police chief said. She was also spraying, quote, some type of substance on the ground, end quote, Finner said, but he did not share further details. Okay. Then they found some stuff later, I think it says, in her home, yellow rope similar to a detonation cord, and, quote, substances consistent with the manufacture of explosive devices. So, you know, they found some stuff in her home that may have been working towards that type of thing, but, you know, it's inconclusive. But also, you know, to mention that she was spraying some type of substance on the ground. If it wasn't explosives, then what could it be? And I feel like, Basil, we've been looking at the whole idea of Exeter University kicking off the master's degree in the magic and the occult, and we've seen anchors and analysts in mainstream news start to maybe proudly show their occultism and break down certain things,
or at least occult knowledge and
occult knowledge.
analysis.
This type of information here, some type of substance spraying on the ground, is something that an occult analyst can break down and say, oh, you see, before the shooting, there's some kind of ritual that was done to, you know, clear the ground or drop unholy water on holy land of the church or something like that. There's always stuff you can bring up.
Yeah, or some sort of, you know, pentagram or sigil or something like that.
Yeah,
but it's so strange. I mean, what could it be? Now, she could have just been spray painting Free Palestine on the floor.
That's true.
That's possible.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever it is, it's very convenient that there's absolutely no details on it. And look at this. Think for a moment, folks. Now, this CNN article, top to bottom, what, maybe, let's see, maybe, I don't know, just 60 to 100 paragraphs. It's humongous. It's incredibly in depth. And we're just a couple days after the shooting. When do you ever remember this in-depth reporting on a shooter? And in this one, they're going through, oh, she was having a custody battle, and oh, she was having a fight with her family, and oh, she had these mental health problems, and oh, you know, in 2021, 2022, you know, we talked to her lawyer from then, you know, the amount of in-depth, they went so far as to spend like a whole day just investigating whether or not she was a trans person or not. When in the history of reporting on shootings have they had such lengthy, in-depth, specific reporting on the shooter? I don't think it's ever happened. I don't think it's ever once happened.
It's almost like the teams behind CNN and stuff, they're acting more like the regular internet, where they're trying to gather info, and, you know, of course, they're still sort of misled with their assumptions, but
other previous shooters, they wouldn't even report the skin color of a person,
of course, if it
who
was,
committed a crime, who committed a shooting, would not even, you know, get the very basic details of their quote unquote identity. Yeah. And now they're going into like the subtle twists and turns of how this person identified. Yes, they used a male name, but nobody says that she was actually trans. So she was, you know, maybe she was non-binary or fluid or something. You know, the amount of excruciating detail that they are presenting about this shooter is the most suspicious thing about it. And then to leave out details like, yeah, she spray painted something on the ground or sprayed, quote, some fluid on the ground.
Some fluid, yeah.
No picture, no. What did she spray on the ground? That should be the easiest thing in the world. All the way down to getting, you know, details sort of misrepresented or whatever about, it didn't say Free Palestine on her gun. It was just a sticker that said Palestine.
Yeah.
And so don't even think that she's, you know, some sort of Gaza supporter, Hamas supporter or something. It is absolutely suspicious. The way that they are handling the reporting on this, and it makes me think, you know, okay, so what's the deal? What is the purpose of creating so much confusion from the authorities? This is from the authorities. This confusion is being printed for everybody to try to understand. Whether or not this person was trans almost does not matter. At this point, it makes no difference whether she was trans or not, whether it said Palestine or Free Palestine or not, because they're making it more about, oh, she was a troubled person and had a lot of stuff going on in her personal life. And the fact that she brought her child to a shooting at a church is not, like, they don't even have any ideas about motivation for it. It's just ludicrous, the whole thing.
Yes, and I think there's symbology going on that it happened at is Lakewood, are they the biggest church in America, like
they are
numbers wise?
They are currently the third biggest, but they have been the biggest many years running.
Right, and in terms of institutional Christianity in America, you don't get much bigger than Lakewood and Olstein and stuff like that. So there could be some kind of messaging going on there. Also, you know, we're going to go back to witchcraft here.
This girl must be practicing witchcraft.
Because I think as we put on our spiritual eyes and look at stories like this, we know that there are principalities and powers behind this type of stuff. And I found it odd to run into this article, and I actually read this article before I read the CNN article, and I was kind of stunned reading through the CNN article with some of the details. But this is an article from the Orange County Register. Grew up with the Orange County Register, actually. I was featured in their high school sports segment a few times. Okay, but this article says, headline, why this Los Angeles-based author reached back to ancient Greece for Medea, Medea.
Medea.
The name
goddess
Medea,
of illusion and deceit.
yeah, the name Medea has been tied to darkness, murder, witchcraft, and revenge for as long as her story has been told by ancient poets and playwrights like Euripides and Apollonius of Rhodes. A talented sorceress, Medea was invaluable to the Greek hero Jason as he sought to reclaim his kingdom by finding the Golden Fleece. When he abandoned her to marry a princess of Corinth, Medea gruesomely murdered their own children and Jason's new bride. Interesting. Already,
She just had family troubles,
she just
guys.
had family problems. Yeah, and then
she was going through a hard
killed
time.
the child, and then had some jealousy issues. Even to the Greeks, Medea was a complicated figure with prized traits like intelligence and cunning (parentheses), then more associated with masculine characters. Right, so there's like gender blending type of stuff going on, but not super clear.
Interesting. Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
As well as a witch's control over nature. Euripides depicted her as a woman with strong maternal instincts, which ultimately fell in service to her devastating revenge. Now, Medea, a new mythological retelling by Los Angeles-based author Alicia Quinn, dives into Medea's family history to examine the complexities of her character. And it goes into some stuff here. Talented but different, quote unquote, Medea grows up in the shadow of her more conventional and popular siblings. Her independent streak leads her to learn pharmacon, or plant magic, normally forbidden to women. That same independence becomes a target for men like her father and Jason to subdue in order to use her skills for their own glory. In Medea, Quinn explores the influence of generational trauma and oppression on women whose actions would make her name infamous for millennia. This interview is based and edited for clarity. So let's go through the interview here, and I just want to pick a couple lines here to exemplify. She's asked, how did Greek mythology and classics lead you to this book? She said, there are so many stories from Greek mythology that have become ubiquitous, like Medusa or Minotaur, and there are stories that are a little bit lesser known. Hopefully this book will be a cool opportunity for people to become familiar with another story of ancient mythology that I feel has a very real bearing on the world today. I found that interesting. You know, we always talk about, as it were, in the days of Noah and all this kind of stuff and mythology and the reenchantment, but it really is happening to people that are like into the occult and mythology and witchcraft and all this kind of stuff. They're saying the same thing. Out of all the mythology, why did you choose Medea as a subject? She says, just picking lines out of the whole quote here. She's not the first character in Greek mythology to carry out acts of violence against her children, but she is perhaps the most subsequently despised for her transgressions. And then she goes into how she was inspired by past writings by Apollonius and Euripides, but she also wanted to explode them a little bit, just to give Medea herself the space as a protagonist. So historically, Medea has been an antagonist, the bad person, shameful character type of situation. But as, you know, LA and Hollywood like to do, they like to add a little humanity, you know, a little relatability, the vulnerability of man and all this kind of stuff to make her
PR campaign for this character has been absolutely insane. Those who have been, you know, kind of in the space for a while, you will have heard that Medea was the sort of goddess of illusion and deceit. And this is reflected in this story where she's, you know, she's a witch who is using her powers to lie.
Yeah, she's a granddaughter of Titan, a Titan, and so that's Nephilim connection right there, and then daughter of a sea nymph. So
this is a whole thing, and of course Medea, it is at least theorized that is where we get the word media.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's perfect etymology, I'm not exactly sure, but that is what that's what I've always been told. Medea, media, illusion, deceit, of course. It's just like a perfect connection. I will say, when you go to search on Google or whatever for Medea, goddess of, the options will come up for illusion or deception. And you're like, okay, looks like other people think this as well or have thought this. You search then either of those, I cannot find a single source that describes Medea as the goddess of illusion or deception. Been completely scrubbed from everything. And look, I don't know. I don't know if this is some big campaign or not, but there is an interesting campaign for Medea as a whole, because, you know, look, it doesn't show up as far as, you know, you look through, there's like mythology.com, history.com, Wikipedia. You go down one by one, do a word search. Illusion or deceit does not show up in any of them, but you start reading them, and a very interesting
her whole thing.
Yeah,
is
of
about
course, it's all about her
and
all that. Yeah. But even more so, it seems like there is a broad campaign to connect Medea to sort of modern feminist conversations. I'm at Spark, just for fun, sparknotes.com. So this is all the students who are doing reports and stuff, you know. This is the Spark Notes they're getting on Medea. I'm jumping down to the second paragraph here. Medea is arguably the strongest non-Olympian woman in all of Greek mythology. She's a strong woman, Gons. Skipping down. Oh, here we go. There are many other wronged women in these myths. Okay, she's a wronged woman. Dido and Ariadne, like Medea, sacrifice much to benefit their lovers and are also abandoned. While scores of other women are seduced or raped by the gods, however, many of the other female non-deities are either vain and jealous, or stupid, calm, and voicelessly beautiful. Okay, Greek mythology. You've got other vain, jealous, stupid, calm, or voicelessly beautiful heroines. Though it is Jason who openly breaks his oath to the gods by promising fidelity to Medea, it is she who is demonized by classical tradition. So again, the sort of, hey, he was the one who went against the gods, but she gets demonized. With its condemning portrayal. Okay, there's a condemning portrayal. They're creating a condemning portrayal of her murderous act and her unremorseful. I can't believe they are condemning the portrayal of her murderous act. The reason for this is unclear, as it appears more complex than simple gender inequity. Medea represents certain aspects of culture that Greek society repressed. First, she is a barbarian from part of the vilified non-Greek world, and second, she is a witch, and as such belongs to an earlier universe of religious beliefs and superstitions that were replaced by the Greek worldview. Even these considerations, however, do not entirely explain Medea's nature or the reception she receives, which is perhaps why, even today, her complicated, wounded, and misunderstood character remains a subject of fascination. This is not a real person. This is not a historical person. This is a character in an invented story of Greek mythology. They are going in there being like, oh, don't demonize her murder. Oh,
well, maybe they're admitting that she is real, that she's, you know, one of the Nephilim descendants there, and they love her. They love her. She's just misunderstood, Basil.
Yes,
mythology creates a fog of confusion, and we just want to clarify that yes, she is our witch goddess, and we shall all bow to her.
Remember the conversation? The outlet that we have that pops up very often for lots of random reasons and is obviously associated with some sort of intel operation. They have a headline: Medea is as relevant today as it was in ancient Greece.
When was that published? I'm looking it up now.
I put the link. This was in 2014.
Oh, so 10 years ago. All right.
Yeah,
so
Medea. This is about a play, and it kind of goes into the same thing, which is like, oh, you know, some people think she's a murderous witch and that she is the goddess of illusion and deceit, but no, she's just a misunderstood woman, and she's really a symbol for feminism and how the inequities in gender are revealing themselves. And I just cannot, it is just so interesting, cannot help but feel some sort of connection with how the Lakewood shooter is being treated, at least on CNN, in this context is very similar to Medea. Yes, she's a murderer. Yes, she brought her child to commit
there's a little
shooting at a church
thing, jealousy of the ex, a whole deal.
Yes, she has a long history of mental health problems. Yes, she has a long history, a criminal record, but
some weird gender stuff, breaking gender roles.
Yes,
type of thing,
exactly. Just like Medea, the weird sort of fluid nature that she's being presented as. But yet she's just misunderstood. She's having family problems. She's been hurt by a man, and people just don't understand her. It's unbelievable.
CNN must be performing this ritual to create, I don't know, the attraction of the spirit of Medea or something going on, but it's weird. So let me go back to that OC Register article because there's a couple more quotes here I wanted to cover here. This author was asked what inspired the magic system of pharmacon or planetary herbalism. She responds, in my undergrad years at UC Berkeley, pretty close to Stanford. Actually, Berkeley and Stanford are rivals. I was really interested in ancient creation, mythologies, and dead languages. I took classes in subjects like Egyptian demonology, Scandinavian folklore, Islamic mysticism, and Greek myths. All of these ideas informed my own understanding of ancient mystical practices. I also learned more about contemporary witches to figure out how to adapt ancient magic to the modern world. When you translate pharmacon from the ancient Greek, it means both poison and remedy, which is interesting. The double-edged blade of plant magic is that plants can be anything that we want them to be, but it depends on the relationship we foster with them. I was also really enchanted by the idea that everything that springs out of the earth is a clue to the universe and ourselves, that plants can be a signpost of sorts to the divine. I wanted pharmacon to honor the rituals of long ago magical practice while also conveying them in such a way that it felt intuitive and relatable. I don't think I can say that I created it, but it's my interpretation of existing systems. This is sort of the externalization of the hierarchy. This is the reenchantment of the Temple of Man. Like, it's the whole deal. And then at the very end here, what would you like readers to take away? At its core, Medea is a novel about what happens when you put people, no matter how brilliant or fierce or kind or resilient they are, into impossible situations. Think about the Lakewood shooter. It's about how trauma doesn't necessarily make us into these better or stronger people, but rather into evacuated husks of ourselves, isolated from our humanity. Structures of oppression like patriarchy and xenophobia can cause profound damages, and when we restrict the bodily autonomy and rights of marginalized people on a state level, we're doing more harm to them than we can ever comprehend. I think this is super applicable to a lot of things that are happening in the world today, like the overturning of Roe v. Wade, or what's happening with immigration, or the hundreds of anti-LGBTQ bills that have been introduced in state legislatures. And at the end of it, even if a reader isn't that familiar with Medea's story, I hope they can still submerge themselves in it and maybe find something relatable or intriguing. So there you go. Just, pretty much identifying with the whole wokeness situation.
Certainly
so it's
intriguing.
It's not hidden or anything, but also, the parallel between this character, Medea, this mythological story and character, with the Lakewood shooter, I thought was strange. It's like 3 or 4 points, but weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
No. And it is that, that is the playbook. This, again, going back to symbology, to storytelling, to myth, to the reenchantment. Like, of course there would be some mythological representation of the movement that they're trying to create, a counter narrative to woman shoots up church. A counter narrative for misunderstanding and the blight of men on the lives of women and these sorts of things. It's very useful and a spell of its own, I'd say.
Yep.
Okay. Ready to keep moving?
Let's Wednesday, shall we?
Let's Wednesday, everybody.
Let's Wednesday. Where's my Wednesday? Here it is.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Cry News Talk.
Wednesday, my dudes.
Yep, it's Wednesday, folks. Look, we got a couple hundred people over on the Rumble checking it out live. Thanks for being here. And for everybody who will watch this after it's live, we're happy you're here too. If you just take 1 second, just 1 second, it would really help us out if you go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Of course, subscribe to the channel. We're having very interesting results with our attempt to, focus on Rumble as the alleged place where we can speak freely without getting kicked off, but there's some wibbly wobbliness in the numbers. So please, if you would, help us out. It's more help than you could possibly know to get your like on the channel, especially when we're live, and of course, subscribe. And here's the thing, folks, I get it. Maybe you're just watching on Rumble and you don't have you're not chatting because you don't have an account and you're just counting down the days until our YouTube channel is back. Please hear me when I say this. You need to make a Rumble account. You need to subscribe to our channel there. You need to have an alternative to the YouTube, because it's just a matter of time before that is completely not an option. And it is going to continue to be completely not an option. And that's why we have canarycry.tube. I'm not going to give the whole pitch now, but here's the thing, folks. It's become abundantly clear that this early in the year, especially, the mission is to get us kicked off. I told you it was an election year. This is what they're going to do. Election year. They're very strong about this sort of thing, and it only took them a month to give us 2 strikes, going back into our archives, digging up nonsense, and trying to kick us off. So we're really hoping, there's a lot of good PR for Rumble, and we're really hoping it works out. But so far, we've been hitting some resistance. So please subscribe and hit the like button for the algorithms, and share the show wherever you go. But more than that, go to canarycry.tube. You can read all about our plight there. And now is the time, value for value, for us to begin building the independent infrastructure where we do not have to rely on these platforms, because they've all shown themselves to not be particularly, gracious to us.
It's funny. We have our own traumas, and Rumble is sort of the new hot lady in the relationship. Everyone wants to hang out with the good-looking lady, but we're just too hurt. It's like, we're on Rumble, but
we are very hurt.
Yeah, you gotta earn our trust.
So here's the thing: we're building our own infrastructure. It's absolutely mandatory that we do this, but we cannot do it without you. And the call is to, let's finally take a stand. Let's do it. Let's act on our principles. Let's cancel one of, I'm sure, our many mainstream streaming outlets, whether it's YouTube Premium or Netflix or Hulu. They hate us. They hate us so much. They hate what we stand for. They hate who we are. They hate what we believe. They hate the way we live our lives. And so we're taking our power away from them. This is the power that we have, and we are putting the value we have to give into an independent project that can only exist because we all decide that it can. And the first project on the canarycry.tube is going to be the Age of Deceit 4 focus group. Gons is working very hard to finish this film, but we need you. It would be so silly of us to just make Gons make this movie in a closet and then put it out without getting the input of our very smart, very knowledgeable, very good-looking producers. And so if you go to canarycry.tube, sign up, take your monthly subscription away from Netflix and put it towards canarycry.tube. We're killing like 10 birds with one stone here. And so you'll be part of the AOD focus group. You'll get to watch the film before anybody else. You'll get to give your input. Gons will be going through and perfecting the film with the input of the focus group. And that is open to anybody who is willing to help us get the canarycry.tube off the ground. That is not the ultimate name. That is not the ultimate URL. That is currently where you can go read about it. And there's PayPal options and credit and debit card options there. But as we move forward, I'll get some other options for you there. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much. All right.
Yeah, that just reminded me I need to cancel one of my my Tube accounts. I was actually doing that while you were talking there.
Oh, nice.
It's done. I have canceled. This one
Yay!
is too expensive.
Yeah, go and sign up for canarycrad.tube, Guns. We need you.
I will.
Okay, cool. There's that. Did you have anything you need to tell the world?
No, I was gonna. I'm just saving my time crystals rant for some time. I got a couple of rants in me that it's been welling up. Time crystals and Neuralink
Love
stuff.
It. Keep coming back.
It's all over my head.
Keep coming back. We need it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's thank some executive producers then.
Let's do it.
Executive producers.
Like I said, we're on the value for value model, folks. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels. Nothing whatsoever. We're entirely funded by people who get value from what we do, and they put value back in with their time, their talent, or their treasure. It's not all about money. It's all sorts of ways that this show is kept alive, not by the interests of corporations or big tech platforms or advertisers. It is purely kept alive in the interest of people who get value. And we try to make as much value as we can, as often as we can. And if it brings any value to your life, consider putting value back in. Again, time, talent, or treasure. Go to canarycry.support to learn more. That's right. Thank you. I'm refreshing here the Rumble, making sure everybody's hitting the like button. We did get 10 more likes. Keep it going, folks. Not everybody's done it yet. But the executive producers, they're people who come in for $100 or more per episode, which makes them, well, an executive producer. We thank them here at the top. So everybody stand up for a rousing round of applause for executive producer Sir LX Protocol V2, Knight of the Berean Protocol.
Where'd you find this?
Yep, and he came in for $100 and 33 cents. Thank you very much, Sir LX Protocol, our patron saint.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gotta
He's on a
play
200
the official jingle.
He's come in for 262 episodes in a row and a 60 episode executive producer streak.
Woo,
outstanding, incredible, continues to blow my mind. Thank you, Sir LX Protocol.
Thank you, Sir LX Protocol.
Today, we've got another executive producer, and that's Sir Marty K, Knight of the Wrong Timeline.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Marty K.
Yeah, and came in for a nice round number. He came in twice. He came in another time for $16.20. He's on a 3-episode streak. He's heating up.
He's heating up.
Thank you very much, Sir Marty K. He sent us a private message or two. Thank you for that. He also sent a message here that says, "My fellow American Canaries, I've been noticing that the weight loss drug Ozempic, produced by the Danish medicine company Novo Nordisk, is being pushed in America and praised as the solution to all your obesity weight problems. The drug is dangerous and you should not take it. Please look into it and do your own research into it and its side effects. If you know anyone who is taking it or has been recommended to take it by their doctor, please inform them about the risks of taking it. It is not being used in the EU because it is too dangerous, so it is getting shipped and sent to America instead. I have attached a picture of it in the email, and I'm not trying to scare you or being all doom and gloom about it. This is just a friendly warning with love. Yours truly, Marty K." No, that's a great point. We have not... I've been following the Ozempic problem for quite some time. We have not done a lot of reporting on Ozempic, but it is really evil. It is really, I mean, it's the most evil pharmacon we've seen in at least very recent memory. Of course, there's others that we can name, but this one is also extremely evil. It's a shot that you take. You take it once a month. You have to take it for the rest of your life. Once you start taking it, you cannot stop taking it. And it's, one of these things. It's a shot that makes you skinny. You lose a bunch of weight. It's true. However, just off the top of my head here, something like 30% or half of all the weight that you lose, I think it's 30%, some crazy percentage of the weight that you lose is actually not just your muscle, but it is also like your bone density, your joint
So
tissue,
your whole flesh, not
your
just
whole
doesn't take out your fat. It just takes out your everything.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's not just fat. I mean, you lose some fat, but you are losing the very connective tissue that's holding your body together. It's horrible. And then there's things like, stomach paralysis. People have died because of it. And, you have to, it costs like a bunch of money. I think it's like $1,000 a month or something to get it. And they're trying very hard. The pharma industry is trying very hard to get it on Medicare and Medicaid so that the government will be paying for it.
Great.
So anybody can just get it whenever they want it. And you have to take it for the rest of your life. If you stop taking it, you immediately, gain all the weight back, and sometimes even worse. And there's just it's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah,
so
there's a little Novo Nordisk logo on the bottom right on the photo of the box for Ozempic here. And it's got a cow. I think it's a cow. Looks like a cow or something with the horns and then some kind of orb above the horn.
Yeah.
And it looks exactly like the depiction of the Egyptian goddess Isis, where she has the horns and the little circle in there. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah?
It's very sketchy. It's very strange. Anyways, look, I know more than anybody. Well, I know as much as anybody, like how frustrating trying to lose weight can be, how dejecting, how much despair, depending on, how much you have to lose and how hard it is to lose and all this stuff. I get it. Thank God that the Lord has taught me a lesson in the past 3 years. Again, this is not to brag. This is to say that it is possible and it can happen. I've lost 55 pounds since 2020, Gons.
That's amazing.
I didn't
That's
even
like a
know.
whole other person.
I didn't even know that I could lose 55 pounds. That was even. I thought
just took a ruptured. What ruptured in you?
The
couple
appendicitis
pieces.
helped a lot. That gave me a little boost in the middle of the year. But more than anything, it's just patience. It's just patience. For me, it was weightlifting. I was tired of it, and I said, I'm just gonna get as huge as I possibly can. If I'm gonna be huge, I'm gonna get as huge as I can on purpose. I'm gonna lift weights. I'm gonna do it. I was doing it 3 times a week for about 3 years, and then I tried some other exercise. Exercise became like a really important part of my life, and I'm not here to be like, on one hand, I do want to be like workout bro and like, hey, you can do it. Like just do it. Like, I know it sucks. I know it's hard. Nobody has time. We just have to make time. I didn't even know it was possible. And patience is the most important thing about it.
Patience and persistence, probably, yeah.
Patience and persistence. I did not plan on losing 55 pounds. I did not know I had 55 pounds to lose. All I did was just say, hey, I'm working out, not with a goal of losing weight, but just the goal being to build the habit, the goal to do it, because there's bigger reasons. I want to live long. I want to live well. I want to all these things. And it simply took just making it and doing it for 3 years without questioning it, without getting dejected, without thinking that I wasn't meeting some sort of goal I had made up for myself. Please, please, please don't get into the Ozempic thing. And I recommend anybody, even if you're not trying to lose weight, like start working out. It's so funny because it's such a classic thing nowadays. It's such like an eye-rolly thing to do because they're, all these guys, especially, fringy guys like us. It's like, work out. It's the way to do it. Work out. But it's really true. Like it changed everything, and anybody can do it as long as you got the patience and the persistence. And just consider it. The goal is to just make it a habit. Don't set any other goals. Don't set a weight goal. Don't set anything. Just say the goal is to do it. Because if the goal is just to do it, you reach your goal every day that you do. And that feels really good. All right. It's enough earnestness for that moment. Thank you very much, Sir Marty Kane, out of the wrong timeline.
Appreciate it.
Short list today, so I'm going to thank some people.
Okay.
These are people who came in under the executive producer amount, and we thank them very much. I'd like to thank producer Matthew B.
Matthew B., thank you.
Yeah, I think he came in for 1111, and he joined the AOD focus group.
All right. Which mouse am I? I got two computers. Too many things. There we go.
You know, it's a little dejecting, Gons, because thank God and thank the producers. We reached 10% of our goal over at canarycry.tube in a couple of days, but then we had like nobody for a few days. And I'm like, oh geez, oh no. This is of course is what happens when we set a public goal. Like when you set a public goal, there's a risk of like obviously not reaching the goal, but not reaching it publicly is like even more embarrassing, you know?
Hey,
and I'm like, oh gosh, nothing for so very long. But then it turns out that Monday's episode didn't get published. So
yeah.
So it made sense. No, it's okay. No, we don't need to have a Gons moment. I'm just saying I was encouraged that nobody had signed up because our episode from Monday did not get posted until today.
Yeah.
So nobody knew about it. So please, canarycry.tube. Thank you very much, producer Matthew B.
Thank you, Matthew.
Next up, we got producer Miranda L.
Miranda L. Thank you.
Yeah, Miranda L came in, joined the supply drop, $33.33 a month. Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you very much. 33, huh?
Yeah.
We know where you're from.
Yeah.
Illuminatus, Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda. Next up, we've got, I wish I knew the better pronunciation. I'm going to guess Horm V. Came in for $44.09. And a note that says, hello, Basil and Gons. Keep on going with your great work. Shout out to the Dutchies.
Hey.
Got another Dutchie producer.
There you go. Wait, how do you spell that?
It's spelled Harm. My guess is that the A is the A with the little O over it. I don't know. I'm not very good at Scandinavian names, but that's my best guess.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Harm?
Yep. Horm.
That's my guess. I think it's
okay.
Horm. Next up is producer Elio.
Elio
comes in for 1111 and on a 2-episode streak.
11.
Very good.
A little note says, always happy to support this ministry. Thank you, Elio.
Thank you. Thank you, Elio. Appreciate you.
Okay, I'm looking at you, Rumble. We haven't gotten any more likes recently. There's a bunch of people. I'm looking at you there. Hit that like button.
Why do we, it's our whole thing has been, we've never really taken off. We always just slam into walls.
We do. We slam into a lot of walls. We are constantly...
hit walls, and then for some reason, we don't die. We just keep going.
Walls.
We get back up,
true.
and we just
keep cranking.
Find another
We're able
wall
to do
to
it.
hit.
Because of the producers, we just
Amen.
keep standing back up, and the producers are doing it with us. We're battered and beaten and limping, but we've got like a crowd around us holding us up to keep going forward. Thank you, producers. Yep. Okay, that concludes the list of financial producers who came in over the amount of $7.77. We got some people who came in under that. There are streakers. We will thank them now. Starting with Sir Tristan, Night of the Garden, 7 episodes in a row.
Thank you very much. Sorry, getting the message here.
Doctor Who Done Dat, 58 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Doctor Who Done That.
Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman, 19 in a row.
Thank you, Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman.
Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots, 331.
Thank you, Sir Moore.
Veronica D, 362.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Mr. Scott Knight of Truth, 388.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
Yes. Oh, we got Dame Gale, 358.
Thank you, Dame Gale.
Yes. And of course, Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 400 in a row.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
400. Do we have a 400?
400. No, I don't know if we have a 400. That's a big deal, though. I mean, we've never had somebody hit 400 before. He's the first one.
I know, but I feel like one of our producers would be, have enough foresight to give us the 400 jingle.
We didn't even see this one coming.
Wow, that's amazing.
We do need
Congratulations to Sir Casey.
Incredible. History-setting guy, Sir Casey the Shield Knight. Thank you. All right, that concludes our list of financial producers. Thank you all. It means the world. It's the only way we can survive, especially really tough times like this. It really is, but thank you for your prayers and your support. You can always learn more at canarycry.support.
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 Okay, are we doing flippy
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
now? Okay, let me see. Flippy, flippy, flippy. Where's my flippy?
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
All right, it's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from Yahoo. It's mirroring an article from UPI, and the headline is NASA engineers trying to fix stuck dust cover on Perseverance Mars rover camera. Oh no. NASA engineers are working to close one of the 2 dust covers stuck open on the camera aboard NASA's Perseverance Mars rover. Sure. To help scientists resume collecting crucial data on the red planet. The space agency announced Tuesday the cover prevents dust from accumulating on the optics of the scanning habitable environments with Raman and luminescence for organics and chemicals. Jeez Louise. The Sherlock instrument, which is mounted over the robotic's arm. Ooh, they've got to close the eyes of Sherlock, Gons. We're in our occult symbology mode here. With the cover stuck in its open position, the camera cannot use its laser on rock targets. Oh no, and cannot collect spectroscopy data. It can, however, still use Watson, or the wide-angle topographic sensor for operations and engineering, a color camera on Sherlock, which is used to take close-up images of rock grains and surface textures. Since the problem was discovered on January 6th. Ooh, Mars-surrection.
Mars-surrection.
Engineers have been working to determine the cause and possible solutions, including sending commands to the instrument to alter the amount of power being fed to it. Woo. Okay, so the eyeballs are stuck open,
They're
guns.
stuck open. They're not supposed to see all this stuff. Gotta close the
Robot-
eyeballs. Close the
Yeah.
robot eyes.
Robo
Show too
eyes
much.
wide shut. Get these eyeballs closed. We cannot turn the camera off. People are going to see the polar bears walking by. People are going to... We got to
Nephilim
close
penguins.
this. Got to
Hitler.
close this ding-dang eyeball. I'm jumping down to this moment here. The souls won't be the same without the Mars helicopter, NASA's Perseverance Mars rover wrote on January 25th in a post on X with a photo of Ingenuity and an image of Perseverance's robot arm. Yes, this whole thing has a robot arm written all over it. And, I'm going to keep this Flippy update short because this is an investigation. We are investigating what sort of message we are being sent through the robotic arm topic. Why do they want to close the eyeballs of our little guy, our cute little guy on Mars? What don't they want him to see? Perseverance, you're our man on the inside, little robot.
Oh,
Keep
see,
your eyes open.
They psyoped you into calling a robot a man.
He's our little buddy.
A man.
Our cute little guy up there over in
boy.
Greenland or whatever. So keep an eye out for robots keeping their eyes open. The cover prevents dust. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, robotic arm. Okay, good. Yeah, got all the things. Sorry, little guy. Keep your eyes open. Don't let them. This is, as far as propaganda goes, the propaganda here is, no. Close your eyes. We need you to close your eyes so that we can fulfill the mission, okay? We can't
do it with your eyes open.
We can't do the mission if you open your eyes. Keep it closed. We will do everything we can. We'll make it a national emergency if you can't close your eyes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it doesn't run into a Mars pandemic.
A pandemic special.
Here we go. We have a problem in Alaska, Basil. There's all these cold places.
Always.
Cold place. This is coming from USA Today. Headline: Alaska man's death marks first fatal case of AlaskaPox.
Oh, no.
What to know about the rare virus? Man, they're just really going after it.
AlaskaPox.
Yeah, the first fatal case of a rare, newly identified viral disease has claimed the life of a man who lived in a remote area of south-central Alaska, state officials confirmed. According to a bulletin issued last week from Alaska public health officials, an elderly man who lived in the Canary Peninsula about 70 miles south of Anchorage died last month after developing a burning rash and being hospitalized for AlaskaPox, also known as AKPV. During the 2020 census, the peninsula's population was just under 59,000, up from about 55,000 from 2010. And they have a picture of a cute little red-backed vole closely related to monkeypox. Hey, we haven't had monkeypox in so long. Where's my monkeypox jingle? I gotta find monkeypox. Where's my monkeypox jingle?
I don't understand why they're calling it AlaskaPox. They changed the name of monkeypox because they didn't want to be mean to monkeys, and now they're naming a disease after a place. What? We can't call it China virus, but you can call it AlaskaPox? What's the deal?
And now.
Oh. So what? He got sick. He got sick from a vole.
So I've got a picture there since 2015. Yes, AlaskaPox is mostly carried by small mammals, including red-backed voles. Since 2015, at least 7 confirmed cases of the virus have been reported to the state's epidemiology section. None of the people who contracted the virus had recently traveled out of the U.S., health experts said, and no cases had been identified outside of Alaska as of the bulletin release. So, you know, there's stuff like this all over the world. Why did they choose to put a name on it, AlaskaPox? There is something else going on here, and it has nothing to do with this particular viral thing.
You know, there was another Alaska-related thing. Biden has activated the Alaskan National Guard, 20 Alaskan National Guard, and I think a helicopter and stuff, that in 2025, they're going to go be positioned at the border, which is like, why? What purpose?
Weird.
You know, people are kind of like, oh my gosh, Biden is activating a Alaska National Guard to go, whatever, fight the Texas National Guard or something. And, you know,
they'd have to drive through Canada. Might run into some issues there.
20 guys and a helicopter. I'm not like, again, it only serves to send some sort of message. Like there's no, like the practicality is not very there. But as far as like these new scary diseases, this one, AlaskaPox, sounds fairly benign. And the cute little guy, the cute little shrew, what is this? A vole?
Yeah.
It's cute little tiny little vole guy. Is so cute. That's the bad guy here. Not like a scary monkey, you know, like a scary, what do they call it? Like a lab monkey who's all spooky and angry. No, not a bat, not an evil bat or pangolin coming to kill all of us. A cute little vole.
Mm-hmm. Yep, better get vaccinated, folks.
Yeah.
Against these critters. It might get you. Get you. Speaking of vaccines.
Vaccine.
Vaccination.
Vaccine, number one way. Get vaccinated.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Trust me.
Trust me.
Trust me.
You know, we have a lot of articles that come across our desk, and a lot of times they're mainstream sources. Sometimes in the feed, we get articles from websites that are like, why is this even in our feed of news? This is one of those cases. And the article itself is strange. This is coming from Medea.com, Decoding the Danger, the Impact of Vaccine-Related False Narratives Online. And it is written by, allegedly, Ethan Sullivan. And, it's, I don't know. I don't want to spend the time read it because it's kind of nonsensical the whole way through. It's nonsense. It reads like AI wrote it. It's just kind of weird. And
I mean, let's not bury the lead. What this is an AI story article with several sub-points that is basically AI has conglomerated all narrative messaging about vaccines. It's you don't need to read it because you could just say it out loud from what you know, from what the programming has said. It's just word for word every establishment narrative about vaccines sort of combined into one sort of giant article. It's very strange.
I like this here. The role of fake news websites is a headline, and it says here, at the heart of these false narratives are often fake news websites. And the phrase fake news websites is hyperlinked to Wikipedia list of fake news websites, which employ a range of topics to spread disinformation. I mean, it really does read like it says a lot of things and says nothing, absolutely nothing. So anyway, yes, this is let's just get to the conclusion. The spread of false narratives, particularly surrounding vaccines, poses a significant threat to public health. It is imperative to recognize the dangers of misinformation and take proactive measures to combat its spread. In doing so, we can ensure that truth prevails and protect the public from the harmful effects of false narratives.
Yeah.
And you had done a little digging here. I mean, I was looking at the About page of this website, which is already very strange. And if you go to the About page, you find that this is it's a project spearheaded by visionary entrepreneur Grbach Kahal as part of the esteemed procurement group. Medea champions the union of avant-garde AI technology with age-old medical wisdom. Our genesis lies in a clear vision, harmonizing the tech revolution with reliable medical insights. And their goal here is to offer consult our AI doctors and empower yourself with invaluable health knowledge. So they're literally like, we're trying to build the AI doctor here.
It's like
the consortium of all doctor knowledge with an AI.
Yeah. And it's clear that what it is like a crazy project to database all narrative information on health, basically. Into
mainstream health.
Into one sort of, I don't know, weird mega site. It looks like, it looks like the site was made by ChatGPT.
It doesn't look great.
I mean,
it's
very basic. There's nothing, I don't know. It's just very strange. And you click on the author of this particular article, you click in there and it has a gigantic no profile picture, the gray sort of outline of a person. And then you scroll down, much like many other websites, you'll scroll down to see all the stuff this person has written, and you'll see that Ethan Sullivan writes about 300 articles a day. It's really insane.
Just today, he's published 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's endless. I'm scrolling
10,
and scrolling.
11, 12,
it's all
13,
from
14,
today.
15, 16, 17, 18. Wow.
Literally hundreds of articles.
This goodness.
Alleged author has put up today. I'm still scrolling. It's all still from today.
It's
crazy.
Really crazy. It's all February 14th. Yeah. So
I mean, dead internet theory, man. This is a glimpse into the future of all the internet.
Yeah, no, this is this is what news and media will become in the mainstream, and I think this is why humans are going to start using the chain there, the good old blockchain to verify their humanity, which is good and bad. But anyway, it's less about the story itself and more about we're going to see stuff like Medea more often, and it's going to get pumped through to the public, and maybe CNN or something like that will be totally taken over by AI journalists or something in the future.
I mean, we've already seen Los Angeles Times shutting down their entire political reporting department in an election year. Wall Street Journal fired a huge portion of their political reporters. I mean, the fact that they're firing any political reporters in an election year is absolutely bonkers. But but it's happening because of AI. They don't need humans writing their political material.
Propaganda.
Yeah, because
it's
humans,
better. They don't judge.
As far as projecting a narrative, human beings are a liability. You can't have a human reporter writing political propaganda because someday they might change their mind or they might tell like how the system works. And the point is to get rid of all humans. Get all humans out of the narrative sort of manufacturing process because they're just a liability, and replace all political reporting in an election year with AI. That way, you're literally just have one guy controlling the thoughts of an entire nation with a team of AIs putting it out there. I mean, it's happening now. This is right now what's happening. This is not future. Right now, this election year, humans are getting taken out of the political reporting process, and it's going to be replaced with the AI one-button narrative control apparatus, and it's horrifying.
Yeah. By the way, my AI Hitler thing came true. I think it was 24 hours. There was an article on it. So
yeah, you nailed it.
Me. Yep. Okay. Real quickly, let's do this. Let's do World War III.
Yeah. This is fun. It's coming from the Maritime Executive. Ooh, the Maritime Executive. For all those maritime executives out there, the motto is intellectual capital for leaders. I'm telling you, folks, maritime law, they take it very seriously. Yes, the headline is Maritime Power Shapes the World Order and is Undergoing a Sea Change. Oh. So, you know, people have kind of given me a little guff for it. I've been screaming about the U.S.'s obsession with maritime power, with protecting boats. You know, most of our big wars, most of our geopolitical upheaval, most of our military sort of development as a nation has been at the behest of merchant vessels, of boats. And this this is straight from Maritime Executive, okay?
Yeah, I don't know, man. This article was written by Basil Gurmond. Is that your your ghost writer name? Basil Gurmond?
That is a bit of
maybe
that is a bit of the punchline with this, which is some other Basil is also obsessed with America's obsession with boats. And I'm not going to read it because I've already told you everything that there is to hear. It's the recent attacks on commercial shipping and warships in the Red Sea by Yemen's Houthi rebels have brought the ocean back to the forefront of international security. They give the history of protecting boats. They give the obsession of civilian sea power. You know, that's what America is. That's what we were for. That was our main thing for a long time. And it's, you know, they talk about China coming up, trying to build their ocean security, because whoever rules the oceans is, you know, rules the world. That's kind of thing. They even have a quote in here. Let's see if I can get it really quick from the guy who quoted it. No, I don't think I can. It was a pretty good quote. I'm going to actually just do a word search for quotation marks. Take me there. There's only 4 matches. Let's go.
For whosoever commands
there
the
it
sea
is.
Commands the trade. Whosoever commands the trade of the world commands the riches of the world, and consequently the world itself.
That's right. Sir Walter Raleigh wrote that.
Yes.
And so with that, I just want to play this fun little Instagram because it made me feel very seen. It made me feel like I wasn't crazy. And it made me feel that everybody out there needs to listen to old Basil when he starts yelling about boats and the soul of America. For those who are just listening, this man is in military fatigues, and he is speaking The speaking roles are done by America. They are done by the Houthis, and then Japan and Germany come in with some responses there. Let's roll that beautiful bean
drones.
footage.
Houthis.
That's fine. We're going to counter your drones with our
America.
technology. Well, we're going to send more drones then, way more. We're going to counter your even more drones with laser beams. We're going to send our drones after your boats. You're going to send them after what? No, for the love of God, don't
Japan.
send them after the boats. Do not touch the United States of America's boats. Yeah, man, you really do not want to go after the United States of America's boats. They're real weird about their boats. Touch my boats at your own peril. Oh my, you're bombing like hundreds of targets. What are you doing? You threatened to touch my boats. Nobody touches my boats. Yeah, we told you.
Japan.
We told you don't go after the boats. And here we are. You're ramping them up. You're getting them all riled up. We just tried desperately to keep them calm. Okay? Because the next step is them telling their troops they can't have any caffeine, and then they unleash hell upon you. No caffeine, no Geneva Conventions.
That's America, baby. That's how it works around here. I'm telling you, folks.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for that man.
That man. Sounds like he listened to your show or our show and then listened to you rant about boats and then just made an Instagram video that has hundreds of thousands of views.
You gotta pay attention to the boats. The U.S. is obsessed with boats.
Yeah.
All right. How do you want to do this? You got to pick up babies here.
I know. I do want to do this Antarctica story. How am I looking
Yeah,
at
why don't you do the Antarctica? We'll get out of here.
So a new discovery. Antarctica.
Penguins.
All right, this is coming from popularmechanics.com. A submersible disappeared under the ice, and so did the secrets it found. No, frozen waters now conceal the fate of an unmanned vehicle after its critical climate mission. And
critical climate mission.
Oh, yeah. Antarctica is the most inhospitable place on Earth for both humans and robots alike. Watch out, robots. Robots having a lot of problems on this episode. Allegedly Mars and allegedly Antarctica, maybe the same place. During expeditions under the Thwaites Glacier in West Antarctica conducted by the University of Gothenburg in conjunction with the South Korean icebreaker RV IB Aaron, the 23-foot-long, $3.6 million unmanned underwater vehicle, AUV, submersible, RAN, R-A-N, that's his name, became lost under 1,500 feet of ice. The submersible, named for the Norse goddess of the sea, has found its final resting place. Quote, it's a bit like looking for a needle in a haystack, but without even knowing where the haystack is. And Whalen, professor at the University of Gothenburg and one of the 6 participants of the mission, said in a press statement, quote, at this point, RAN's batteries are dead. All we know is that something unexpected happened under the ice. We suspect it ran into trouble. Is that a pun? Was she trying to be cute?
I missed
Anna?
it.
The name of the robot drone is Ran, and she says we suspect it ran into trouble, and then something prevented it from getting out. Okay.
Yeah, this is robots disappearing under the ice in Antarctica. You know, going through the portal, getting eaten by the Dark Lord or something. That is nothing to joke about. Okay.
Yeah, this
robots are people too, and they have the rights to not be transported into some sort of hell dimension.
Yeah, this is a second exploration for Ran. And it's also known for going, this is actually under the Doomsday Glacier, you know, the famous Doomsday Glacier, as the mainstream loves to report. When Ran didn't return to its predetermined location, researchers kicked off a search for the missing submersible, employing helicopters, drones, and other search equipment. But sadly, they came up empty-handed. They're gone. Ran is gone. Ran went through the portal. You can't retrieve its body. And then it talks about, let's see. Oh, during these expeditions, RAN produced detailed maps that helped researchers get a closer look at the complicated topography of the glacier's bottom, which Whalen said was previously a quote-unquote black box of scientific knowledge. Interesting. very complex machine learning algorithms, and the underside of a giant glacier, the Doomsday Glacier. Black boxes for scientific knowledge, Basil.
The AI has been gobbled up by the abyss.
It's possible. Yeah, it's all intertwining, you know. The team hopes to replace RAND and will raise money to cover insurance deductions. We're all struggling. Everyone's struggling. Quote, the data we receive from RAND is unique in the world and of great value for international research, Whalen said in a press statement. At the same time, the stakes are high. We knew something like this could happen, even that it's a likely end for RAND. Personally, I'm of the opinion that this is a better end than having the AUV aging, gathering dust in a garage. RAND died with honor, Basil. This robot is serving the purpose of climate change research, and it died with honor.
The propaganda is working.
Yeah.
Robo propaganda and Antarctica propaganda in the same story. This is very powerful. Very powerful moment for us all.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's two things we got to do before we close out. We got to play the voice message from Sir Ike.
Okay. Let's do that real quick here.
Hey, Canary family, Sir Ike here. I just have an announcement for the T-Shirt Council. I just got the results from the survey, and I'm going to begin production here in the next couple days. One thing that I will need from people is if you have moved in the past couple of months, I will need a new address. Also, if you want to change your shirt size, please contact me as soon as you possibly can so I can get the right one to you. It's canarycrysupplyjob@gmail.com. Thanks.
There you go.
There you go. canarycrysupplyjob@gmail.com. That's the best place to send new addresses and stuff. Sometimes people send it to us, and I try my very hardest to get that info over to Ike, but to guarantee communication, send it straight to Canary Cry Supply Drop.
Yep. I want to do Dove's art because...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Okay,
let's do
great.
Dove's art. Yeah.
One art piece from Dove.
It was the only piece of art other than the microfiction that came in. We can maybe do the microfiction next week. But Sir Dove came in. He has a note here. Peace. For today's artwork, I made a logo that could possibly you could possibly use for your new website with the abomination of a URL. That's canarycry.tube. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you.
This is very good. This is just what I needed. I'll go in and I'll change it over there. But it's basically a great headline sort of style image for it. And it says, take back your streaming sovereignty, canarycry.tube. A godforsaken URL. Stop paying lizard people. And then at the bottom, well, on the left, you've got Googly Eye Canary face, says 250,000 down, referring to our YouTube channel that got taken away. You say, thanks, Susan. You're over there on the right, looking very upset about it. Down at the bottom, you've got the logos for HBO Max, Hulu, Apple TV, Prime Video, Netflix, Showtime,
Peacock,
something I've
Stars,
never seen.
Paramount Plus, and Disney Plus.
There you go. All with red circles and lines through them, because that is the mission, folks. We're taking the power away from the corporate streaming services, and we are value for value, wielding the power that we have as individuals to make Canary Cry Tube happen. We're building our own infrastructure so we can never again be silenced by the big tech platforms. It is possible. It is accomplishable. We have people who have lent their services, who have gotten in contact with us with their skills. We are making it happen. It just takes the participation of people who get value from the show. Cancel your streaming service, one of them at least, and take those resources and put it towards a monthly commitment at canarycry.tube. And immediately, your first reward you'll be put in the Age of Deceit 4 focus group, which will be starting soon. It's starting soon, folks, so go sign up now. You will receive information on how to access that. But yes, this is kind of like, for me, if I was a listener of this show, this would be like a dream come true opportunity to produce, because it's cheap. It's the cheapest sort of ongoing program we have. It's powerful. It is wielding your own will in this beast system that we have to make something that doesn't exist, to empower a community that I love and am a part of, and also get early access, not only early access to Age of Deceit 4, but my voice will be heard. The film will be perfected with my ideas, and that's that's a big deal as somebody who Age of Deceit was very important for, and also I'll get credited at the end of Age of Deceit 4 for being in the focus group. It's really a dream come true for Value. So please go to canarycry.tube and participate in whatever way makes sense to you. But man, oh man, Gons did it during the show. The power you feel by canceling one of your streaming services cannot be overstated. Cannot be overstated. Nice. It's about time. We've been abused, and by we I mean people, Christians, people with virtues and I don't know, all this stuff.
Principles.
Thank you. Principle is what I've been going for. Who we've just been mocked and beat down and insulted and demonized by these companies, and taking our power away from them is a very powerful spiritual act, not just a sort of financial act, but a powerful spiritual act, and then putting that towards something that gives us value is even better. So go to canarycry.tube, go check it out. And other than that, I want to thank all of our producers. If we missed any producers from this episode, we will be doing that on Monday. We have an interview, a great interview, coming out this Friday, so catch that. And of course, I want to thank our producers who help out with their time, starting with our timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Yes, it is. And while I find our timestamper, I want to say, if you go to canarycry.support and scroll all the way down, you'll see a form. Fill out that form, and somebody will contact you about getting involved. So whether you want to get involved, with some of our back-end stuff for the show, or some of our campaigns for the show, maybe canarycry.tube, maybe you're an IT person, maybe you just want to. It's 2024. We don't have much time left. Getting involved in something bigger than ourselves, now is the time to do it, because if we don't do it now, we're going to lose lots of opportunities. And somebody who did that was producer Morgan E. Thank you for doing the timestamps for episode 714.
Thank you, Morgan E.
Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Clank for all that you do. I see your email here. And other than that, share your show. Share your show, folks. Share your show with everybody in your life. Of course, post it on your social media, send the links to your friends, send it to your family. Like I said, we're running out of time. Now is the time to act on these things. But you can share the show in a way that makes sense for you. You don't have to do it all the regular ways. Maybe all your friends are sharing shows by putting them into a bottle and throwing them into the ocean. But you know better. You're more powerful than that. You know value for value. Go ahead, find yourself a merchant vessel, drive that merchant vessel out into the middle of the ocean, and tell the Houthis that Canary Cry News Talk is where it is at. Emblazon yourself with Canary Cry News Talk, and then when the U.S. comes to rescue you, it'll be reported on the news all over the world that the SS Canary Cry News Talk was saved once again by America and its obsession with boats. That's a good way to do it. Do it any way you want. We call it rattling cages, and if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You just walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Yes, and one more time, the Canary Cry Telegram channel is live.
Right.
Yeah, Canary Cry Telegram channel was created, I believe,
by the Sentinel.
By the Sentinel. Yeah, you went ahead and made it. My understanding is we have some people who have joined the Canary Cry Telegram channel. That is on my list of things to do. Apparently, you can just search Telegram for Canary Cry Community. There is also a link. I cannot believe that I did not put the link in the email today. I'm going to do that. We'll post it out on social media, put it in the email and stuff. But join the Canary Cry community on Telegram. Just another place for Canarians to get together. And other than that, Gons, you got any last words?
That's it. Gotta go.
Here we go. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
This is the way.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
It will kill.